What's up guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to edit a drum video. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting on this video. I just haven't had the time to do it, so tonight I'm going to take the time to record this video, show you guys how I do a drum cover video with Final Cut Pro. Most of these tips, if not all of them, will work on iMovie. But there will be some limitations on iMovie. Most of these tips will work on iMovie. So with saying all that, let's just jump right into it and let me show you. I'm going to do a whole entire video. The video that I'm going to do, you guys have done seen, but I'm going to show you guys. Now I'm going to show you guys how to edit the video, show you the process of what I do, which should help you guys if y'all have Final Cut Pro or iMovie. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so before we get started, there is a few shortcuts on the keyboard you guys need to know. It'll really help you really master Final Cut and iMovie. Okay, so let's get started with this tutorial. First off, obviously you have to dump all of your media into where it says import media. So you find the file however you organized it and put all your media into the import section. This, what I'm editing, is a church service. So here's two songs that I've selected that I'm going to edit and redo. I'm only going to do one tonight for this video, but I'm going to select everything and then I'm going to pick out what I want right here in the import media part for the timeline. Create a new project. So I'm going to do everything in 1080p tonight, but this is how you change it. I usually do all my videos in 4K, but I'm going to do this one in 1080p for the simple fact things might run smoother. You know, I want to do things fast so I can show you guys how to do it. But 1080p at 24 frames a second. So now I have me a project created where all my media can drop in, and then I have me a timeline at 1080p at 24 frames a second. And what I'm doing here, I'm sure y'all are wondering what I'm doing, is Command Tab. You can get through your apps way faster. So once you have all your media into your media section here, you find, your audio, which all my audio is already complete because I did that in Logic. That's a whole nother video of how to mix music. I'm still not a professional at it, so I don't think I'm the guy for that. Maybe Jeff Holden or Jay or any of those guys, but I'm going to select. So I'm going to do My Soul Follows, which is right here. My audio's here. I've did all my audio work in Logic, the program Logic. I've converted it into a file, so I was able to drop it in from here into here. So I usually start out with dropping in my audio first, keep everything organized, make sure it plays. I'm sure you guys could hear it. And then that's the audio. It's dropped in. Now this is the fun part. I mean, there's ways of doing it more organized than this, but now you have to find, I'm doing I think I'm doing 4 camera angles with this song. So once I put my audio in, I have to find, since the cameras are constantly running as I'm playing on a Sunday, when you're at home, you're doing a drum cover, it's probably a lot easier. You go home, hit record, get on the drums, and you're done. You don't have to worry about sorting through the videos to figure out which songs are which. But when you're playing at a church service, you did 4 or 5 songs and your camera was constantly recording, and for some reason it don't leave it as one long file. These cameras always drop it in 5 or 6 files. So now I have to go through my GoPro footage and find out which songs are which. So this is me doing that. So yeah, another tip, what I usually do is I go over here to this section right here and I make everything audio right here in the viewfinder so you can match everything up, and it don't have to be that big. I don't know why I have it that big, and then you can line, as you can see, I already found the first camera angle. Now I'm going to line it up. I could zoom in pretty good here. Line it up. Pretty good to me. Now I mute that one, and now everything should be good. Okay, first camera angle down, you just drop it on top, simple as that, and then line up to the very beginning. And then you want to cut that out so that don't look funny. So as you can see, it does this, you know, you don't want to have that space in the beginning. So remember the shortcuts I showed you. I'm hitting A, see my mouse right here to the left of the screen? A, which is regular, B, which I could do this, and then A again, swipe up, which swipe up, what I did, and then Command X, take it away. And now it's, you know, don't have that dead space. And you always want to make sure whenever you're cutting like two sections like that, 2 or 3 or 4, this snipping's on right here. I think it's called no, not snipping, but what's it called? Snapping, sorry. So you always want to make sure that snapping is on, which as you can see the shortcut is in. You can turn that off and on with shortcut in. Okay, so the first camera angle is done. So now we want to go to the second camera angle, which I want to be, say, this one, which usually this one would be first, but I didn't do it. I would do this one second after the audio. So what I'm doing now is the same thing I did with the first clip, but see right here, you can tell it kind of matches up, but I really don't know. I'm hoping for the best. I think it does. And then the first snare hit, you see, should match up close to here, I believe. And then we can definitely find out in a couple seconds. Nope. So, by the way, I have a trackpad which I can zoom in and out with the pinch. The way you do that, if you have a regular mouse, sorry, I don't need to, is you do it right here. If you're not, a trackpad's a lot better for editing, but this is the way you do it if you don't have a trackpad. Just to clarify how you know that I'm zooming in and out. So zoom in real good, and then you know, do this, and then line it up, and then test it out. So it's lined up, and usually that audio right here, the reason why I keep it here, I'm going to switch it to the bottom, and the reason why I switch it to the bottom is because I leave the sound on a little bit, because it's from the sound system. I gotta get that number just right, which I zoom in and get it right again. So if it's at the bottom, you know, when you're cutting and deleting parts of the other cameras, that'll be your bottom clip, so you don't have to worry about the sound disappearing as you're cutting. So that's off. I gotta make sure it's back on. Zoom in real good. And this one has to be perfect because it has sound with it. Okay, good. So I'm going to adjust the volume just a little bit. Put -2. Okay, so now I have my second camera and my second set of audio, which everybody does their audio differently, but that's how I do my audio when it comes to live recordings. And as you can tell, this camera, I still have a little section to go, so I'll go here, yep, and then I will cut that out and put it down. And see it, I have that snapping on, so hopefully it should snap right into place. Let me adjust my volume. Oh, not 23, 2. Okay, so now it's back there. Let's see if it matches up. Okay, it matches up perfectly. I'm going to cut this because that's the end. Remember the shortcuts, B and A. You drag it all, Command X. Okay, so now I have my 2 cameras set up. I can continue to do more, which I'm going to do one more. I have 4 cameras to show you, but I think that'd be like overdoing it. I'm going to do 3 cameras. It'd get the point across. The 4th camera would be the same way. So with iMovie, this is exactly how you do it on iMovie. iMovie only allows you 2 lines. Final Cut will allow you 70 something lines, which I don't know why you need 70 something, but Final Cut will allow that. iMovie will only allow you an audio and 2 video, which is what I have here. And the way you do that, which I will get to that, but this is what it allows you to do, which is 3 lines, audio and 2 videos. So for iMovie users, this is how you do it here, and I will show you how to cut pieces out without your timing getting messed up. So I'm going to do one more camera for the Final Cut users and show you how to cut. So I think I found the audio for this camera. This camera is hard because the audio is so hard to line up, but I think I can get it here. No. What I just did there is I muted the bottom one so I could hear the top one better. I'm going to mute this one as well, which I'm hitting the key V for the shortcut to mute them, so I can work on this one to get, so I can get the snare hit that I know is right here. And then once I find that snare hit, I will be able to line it up, which I'm close. And there's the snare hit. So now I got I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna cut this out so I can move around. And that's Command X is the way I just got rid of that so quick. And I'm gonna move it over. I'm gonna unmute this, which is V. I'm gonna zoom in real close. Find my snare hit. Okay, so the snare hit is right here. Go ahead and zoom in real good. Match these up. I think it's matched up. Look, mute it and see. Seems a little off. Pretty dang close, but it does seem a little off. So I will move it over just a tad. Mute it. Okay, so I'm lined up with all 3 of my cameras, and since I cut so much off, I'm just going to add it back by doing this, by just grabbing it and moving it over. Okay, so now I have all 3 of my cameras. So the way I usually add my intro, which a lot of you guys see, is, I go online, find the picture I want, and that's pretty much it. And then I just drag it down here. I don't even know if that's the right thumbnail, but I'm just going to act like it is. Go here, and then you go here, hit transform, and you'll be able to move it around as much as you want. Make it big or small, or however you want to do your intro, which all intros are different. Some people have a whole little video, which is really cool. And then you go here and get your title, and then you name your title. I'm not going to name it for the sake of time, but you name your title. And then usually I don't leave it on that camera, so I will, let me go over here and make it back where I can see the video so I know which video is what. Okay, so I usually don't leave my thumbnail or my intro with this camera. I usually cut it out right here, which is B, back to A, and then V, and now I'm on this camera, and that's usually my title and my thumbnail. And my camera up here, the battery's running dead, so that's great. So after that, so you got your intro, you got everything. So now you need to start cutting away and getting what you need to make your video. So you just listen, and then you could zoom in further if you need to, and then you say you want to cut here, you just B, and then B in a different spot, and then click A. Select that section, and then V, and then it goes from this camera to this camera. Okay, so then you want to do another spot, but you want to do the other camera. You don't want to do the second camera. You want to do this one right here. You want to see the church or the third camera. So you do that. You do both of them. Hit A, drag it down, and then V. So that's how you do it. So for the people with iMovie, it's the same exact way, but you'd be doing this section right here, which is only 2 angles. You'd be taking out just one. You won't have to worry about 2. And then if you had another one, if you had another camera layered on top, you would do the same thing. It'd be no different. So you go B, I want to do it here, and then that's it. I mean, know the shortcuts, you can do it really fast. And then you want to do another one. Do it again. So it's really fast once you learn it. You gotta learn the shortcuts. A, which brings you back from your blade, and then B is your blade, which you can cut stuff, and then V is to disable that section you have selected. So you do that through the whole song. Get all your camera angles the way you want them. And then you come out to the end, make sure your end's all straight, which all I did was cut it with B, select A again, highlight that, and get it gone. So after that, you wrap up with your ending, which I usually use this, drag it down, and then I title it whatever I want to title it, move it where I want to move it, and that's it. So a lot of people also use these right here. Okay, you gotta select the section, go right here, hit crop, and then I guess they're called Ken burns, which I'll show you what this does. Drag it down, select it, makes it centered, make sure it's center frame, hit done, and now watch what it does. I use these, so I'm going to show you how to do them. And as you can tell, my computer's not liking the idea because it ain't had time to process it. But what it does is it zooms down. As you can see, it's kind of choppy, but it's zooming down. It'll be smooth once it's rendered, but that's how you do it. See how it's zooming down, and then once it goes to the next camera right here, it'll stop. And then you could do it. You can do it for this camera too, but what you got to do is you got to do this. You got to cut it, and then do that, and then select it, and then go crop, Ken burns, done, and then now that's enabled. All you gotta do is that. So that's how I edit my videos. I hope this helped you guys out. Final Cut Pro does do several camera angles. iMovie does too, with one audio. I hope this helped. Like I said, I hope this helped you guys out with Final Cut. If you learn the shortcuts, this would be a blaze for you guys. B is blade. V is disabling a clip once it's in it, once it's selected. So I mean, the main thing is keep things organized and learn the shortcuts, and get Final Cut if you don't got it. iMovie's great for 2 angles. Final Cut's great if you want more angles. This is how I do a drum cover for a vlog type video. It's different. For a drone video, it's all different. But for a drum cover, this is how I would recommend you doing your videos, because you can layer as many cameras as you want and then cut them out, and you don't have to cut this section, which people can do that, but I mean, it just wasting time because it don't need to be cut. As long as it's disabled, it's good. Then you always want to wait until it's done rendering, and then you want to go up here, share, master file, or however you do it. So my camera died. You can't see me, but you can hear me. So you always want to, make sure it's done rendering, or I do. I could be wrong on this, but I make sure it's done rendering, and then I hit share. Once it's done, I'm not going to wait now. Master file, or however you upload. Next, title it, which I should have left it. Seemed like a good title. And then hit save, and then it renders it. And then you're ready to go to upload it. So I hope this helped a lot of you guys out. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.